Hello, lovely women. Nicole Christina here. I want to give you a little background on what you can look forward to with my new podcast, Zestful Aging. I'm a psychotherapist and wellness expert, and I interview women of a certain age to talk about their triumphs and challenges and how they developed into the women they are today. Women of sass and class. And it wasn't always pretty, but we talk about how the messiness is often necessary for a life of substance. And sometimes I take the mic myself to talk about healthy behaviors that also increase lifespan. I've been a psychotherapist in upstate New York for about 25 years, and my clients are aging right along with me. I started noticing that they were asking different kinds of questions than when I began my practice. Instead of conversations focused on mothering, being overwhelmed with work, and challenges with family and kids, they started asking, what now? What do I do with my life now that my kids are growing up and my well-honed caretaking skills are no longer needed in the same ways? Some of these women are taking care of aging parents, and they may be starting to think about retirement, although many are still working. And if they're married, they may or may not be satisfied in those relationships. Sometimes around a certain age, we become very aware that we are no longer young women, but we also know we have some time left. And for the most part, our bodies are still working well. But we may feel a bit unmoored. Who are we without our familiar roles? Some of us have never had the luxury of asking ourselves what we want in life. We know we don't want to fritter away the precious time that's left, and we certainly don't want to be left with a big pile of regrets when it's all over. But where to start? How do we fill our time now? How do we create lives that are meaningful and deeply satisfying? It's a new frontier. So I decided to create an online course, also called Zestful Aging, to look into what we can do to make our lives healthy and joyful. And it turns out how we age is very much in our control. When I was producing the course, I interviewed several women to talk about how to age well. The interviews were so interesting and so much fun, I decided to make a podcast. And here we are. My hope is that the Zestful Aging podcast will energize and inspire you. I'll be talking to women who are navigating aging with courage and creativity. Some say it's the best time of their lives. I hope that you'll recognize yourself in some of their stories and feel supported and understood. There will also be episodes where I talk about the many facets of aging well, based on my 25 years of clinical experience and my research on positive aging. I'm so excited to share stories of fascinating and inspiring women with you. Here are some examples of who you'll hear from. Vicki, a New York State fly fisher, she talks about teaching breast cancer survivors how to fly fish. And Karen, an elected official, talks about finding her voice in politics. And Mary Fran, a humorist who talks a lot about granny panties. And then Mary Ellen, an eating disorder prevention advocate, tells us about what it took for her to agree to a boudoir photography session. The interviews are honest, vulnerable, and sometimes raw. Send me an email at NicoleChristina.com and tell me what you'd like to hear more about. Please comment, rate me on iTunes, like, and share. and I love to hear from my listeners. And if you want more zest, head over to NicoleChristina.com/Zestful Aging, where you can find my online course, Zestful Aging, Simple and Sustainable Habits for Health and Longevity. I'll see you next time for the launch episode of Zestful Aging. May we all be healthy and safe. Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. I love to hear from my listeners, so send me an email at NicoleChristina.com and tell me what you'd like to hear more about. I would also greatly appreciate if you could hop on iTunes and rate the show. Ratings help other people find the podcast so I can share all these good, juicy interviews with others. I would also invite you to become a patron of the Zestful Aging podcast. Hop on over to patreon.com/Zestful Aging and consider making a small donation. You will be eligible for insider-only goodies and behind-the-scenes information, and it'll help you feel good knowing that you're contributing to the Zestful Aging podcast. I'll look forward to sharing more juicy interviews next week on Zestful Aging.